to my world where all is well. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that create the things. Today is Saturday, February the 18th, 2023, and it is currently 1400 hours. I'm a former officer who's been diagnosed with PTSD, social anxiety, and depression. Making these videos is very therapeutic for me, and I hope that it is a blessing to you. Today my thinking thought is God is greater. God is greater. God is the greatest that there will ever be. God is so big. He's bigger than anything we have ever seen, anything that we can ever conceive. He's just that big. I mean, he is so big. We live in a universe and galaxies, and he's created universes and galaxies that we may never know of in this lifetime. God's logic is way beyond our logic. Anything that we can comprehend, conceive, or even think about. That's how big God is, and that's what makes God the greatest. And nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible with God. What man may say is impossible, what your attorney may say is impossible, what the doctor may say is impossible, is not impossible with God. I've heard many miracles and testimonies of people saying the doctors say they have such and such disease and they only have 2 or 3 weeks to live, and they out here living now 20 years later. So what is impossible to man is possible with God, because God is the greatest. God is the only person who can turn nothing into something. Do you know anybody? Can you think right now? Do you know anybody who can get absolutely nothing and hold it in their hands or speak it out of their mouth and turn it into something? God is the greatest, and he is so powerful that he speaks it and it exists. God turns nothing into something. Anything that we have is a resource from a source from God. God supplied the source for us to turn into resources for us to use. Anything on earth that we are using now that is man-made had to first start from God. There's no way a Tesla could exist, an iPad could exist, a phone could exist, a camera could exist, a mic could exist without God first being the greatest first. God spoke it into, and guess what? God spoke Viagra into existence before it even existed. I wrote that down in my journal. I was thinking about Abraham and Sarah. God told Abraham he was going to bless him with a child in his old age. You know, they thought it was funny. He was laughing. And said, God created Viagra. He said, I got something for you. I got something that's going to make you hard again, Abraham. And before Viagra had a name, God created it. That is how wonderfully great that my God is. And he's going to create other things for us too. I really believe it. I know they got some new things in development to do with diabetes and cancer. Where's the trip? Now, out of all of that, with Viagra, we came into our physical existence first. God is still the greatest. All we need to do is be still. Be still and know that I am God. Just be still. Let God be God. Let God be the greatest. All we got to do, literally, is to be still. The problem is we try to interrupt greatness. The problem is we try to tell greatness what to do. The problem is we don't believe in the greatness. The problem is we think we are greater than the greatness. The problem is we think we are smarter than the greatness. Just be still. God got this. Our only commandment, our only deal is to be still and let God be God. That's all we got to do. We do that, we're good to go. Problem is, we don't want to do that. We want to take things into our hand because we think that we are greater than God. We got to get rid of that concept. Not that God is within us, which make us great, but we have to acknowledge His existence. And once we do that, we can just be still, breathe God in, and breathe God out, and let God be God, and let God do what He do, which is the greatest. You know what? I reflect God through me because God is in me. God is in me. So now that God is in me, I can reflect God through me. I can reflect greatness through me. I just think that's so beautiful, don't you? Our greatness. I'm great because of the greatness that is within me. I'm great because of the God that's within me. And I'm being still. I'm not doing anything on my own. I'm being still and allowing that greatness to operate through me. God thoughts about me. I'm talking about just about me. I don't know what God thinking about with you. But when God thinks about me, he thinks about me more than the sand on the sea. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please turn on that notification bell. Thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank God for you. But that's amazing. And I read that, I was like, God thinks about me, freedom. God thinks about me more than he thinks about this. God has more thoughts in his head about me than there are sand in the sea. Just breathe that in. God is the greatest thing that has ever existed, that will ever will be in existed, that has existed, is thinking about me more than there are sand in the sea. That's a lot of thoughts that God is thinking about me. Now, I love my kings. I don't even think I think about them that much. God is thinking about me more than I can't comprehend how much God thinks about me. God is so great. He thinks about me more than I can think about myself or anything else doing out my physical existence on this earth. God loves me. He must love to think about me like that. God loves me. You know when you're in love with a girl, you know, so you think about them all the time. You wake up at night. Everything you do, they're in your mind. God is thinking about you more than you're thinking about that girl that you love and think is so pretty. And like, God is greater than your fear. Don't allow your fear to be the greatest thing in you or a part of you. Just be still and breathe in God's greatness and breathe out. Just know, hey, God got this. God is great. God is great. God is great. Just meditate on that. God is great. God is greater. That has been my meditation for today. God is greater. Anytime a thought comes to me, I keep coughing and doing that because I'm getting over a cold. So, but guess what? God is greater than my cold. So in my thought, every time I cough, yeah, I might not speak it out while I'm doing this video. Going around, I was like, you know what? God is greater. Every cough I have, God is greater. God is greater. God is greater. That's my constant thought. Every cough, God is greater than this cough. God is greater than any fear that I might have. God is within me. Greatness is within me. The greatness that is within me is going to allow the God within me to operate through me. All I have to do is be still and let God be God. Let God be great. Everything that I touch is because of God. Everything that exists is because of God. Everything on this earth is because of God. Earth is because of God. The sun is because of God. The moon is because of God. The star is because God is. God is. That's my personal definition of God. People ask me who God is. I say God is. That's not the best definition I can have. God is. That's all to it. There's nothing that's appropriate enough to put God into a box to define him appropriately at our human brain level. God is. That's just all to it. God is. And guess what? God is the greater. God is greater. God is so good. God is, God is so good. Check this out. I was thinking about this too with Joseph and Mary and Jesus. God is so good. He was like, hey, Joseph, your wife pregnant, or your fiance pregnant with my child. This is what you're going to do. Did they have divorce court back then? Or the Maury Show or Jerry Springer? Can you imagine them on the stage like, yeah, hey, the girl pregnant with my child, but this is what, and I'm gonna tell you what to do about this situation. Okay, even though she's pregnant with my child, this is what you're gonna do, Joseph. Hey, you're gonna raise this child. You're gonna take care of Jesus. You're gonna feed him. You're gonna take care of Mary. You're gonna take care of all your responsibilities. Okay, but I got you. And guess what? Joseph and Mary had to know and believe that God was the greatest. When you are the greatest, you can do stuff like that. Now, I guarantee you, then, I don't want to say anybody's name, but I'll just say that average person, average man cannot walk up to another man and say, hey, I got your girl pregnant, and this is what you're going to do. You're going to have to be the greatest at something. Now, I believe it probably could happen with things going around nowadays, polygamy and things like that. Whatever people believe, I'm not judging you. That's what you believe in, polygamy. God bless you. I love you. God bless you. I appreciate you. God love you. But if you in that type of relationship, I can see that happening. So be great in that area if that's for you. But that's an area that you might be great in, but you're still not the greatest, because God is the greatest in every area of our life. God is just great. He just is. God is the greatest. What else I wrote in my journal? Guess what? I'm sorry, get on my cold. God is so great that even though my medical records say that I'm diagnosed with PTSD, actually it's CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress syndrome. My medical records say I'm diagnosed with CPTSD. My medical records also say I have social anxiety. My medical records also say I have depression. I fit the full definition of all three of these diagnoses. Okay? My mental diagnosis. God is so much greater than my diagnosis. God is still within me, and God calls me his greatest gift. I am God's greatest gift, even with my diagnosis. God don't care about my diagnosis. It's like God's like, I'm so great, I'm so big, I'm the greatest. There's no diagnosis you can have that can outdo me. There's no diagnosis my doctors can define and prescribe and give to me, or any medication they can prescribe give to me, that's going to be greater than the God that is within me. And God still say, hey, yo, free, you the greatest. Because God is the greatest and God is my Father, God is within me, God said, hey, you still the greatest. Don't forget that. Just be still and know I'm the greatest, and the greatest is within you, and you reflect the greatness out of you. That makes you great. That means your seeds are great. I come from greatness. I come from Frederick and Dorothy Smith. I come from greatness is all around me and all through me. Everything I do is great. Okay, I can't help it. I can't. Should I apologize? I don't think I should apologize. I should just accept that I'm great. Yeah, Freddie is great. I'm great. Not only am I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. God thinks about me more than there are saying. Have you ever counted the sands in the sea? I never have. Never wasted my time doing it. But for somebody who wants to do it, go out there and do it. Let me know what number you come up with me. God thinks about me more than there are sand on the sea. Okay? God loves me. I'm the greatest. I am the. And you know what? Thank you. Thank you for hating me. If you hate me, thank you. That's all I got to say. Thank you. If you rejected me, thank you for rejecting me. Thank you for leaving me. Thank you for not talking to me again. Thank you for firing me. Thank you for calling me names. Thank you for lying on me. Thank you for everything that you want to do to me. Thank you. I sincerely wish the best for you. I really do. And I'm not joking. I really do. I wish the best for you, especially for those people who have ill wills toward me. I sincerely wish you the best. I really do. Hope you prosper in every area of your life and you go out somewhere and be great. God bless you. But guess what? In order for me to have people that hate me, that reject me, and that leave me, that lets me know that I have to be the greatest. Because people don't hate on, leave, or reject people who ain't doing nothing, who are not the greatest, who are just average or below average. I remember T.D. Jakes once said, this is not from me, this is from great Reverend T.D. Jakes. He said he has never seen anybody doing better than him, hating on him. I said, I receive that. Yes, Lord. I received that great. Thank you, Reverend Jakes. That was for me. Next time somebody hating on you, now check out their status. Nobody that is hating on you is because the people that are better than you, they ain't got time to look back at little old you and hate on you. They trying to get to the next level. So thank you, because God will never leave me. God will never hate on me. God will never reject me. God will never leave me. And because God is the greatest, I am the greatest, I will never be defeated. Your hatred will not defeat me. Your rejection will not defeat me. You leaving me will not defeat me. I am the greatest. The great God within me makes me the greatest. And guess what? God's blood is the greatest. There is no blood on earth powerful than God's blood. God has the greatest blood ever. And his blood is running through my veins. This lady in the Bible, she was bleeding. She had blood, running through her too, running out of her literally. She said, God is the greatest. And I know this man named Jesus walking here on this earth has God within him. If I could just touch the hem of his garment, I would too become the greatest. I think she crawled through the crowd. The crowd was so much, because everybody want to be surrounded by greatness. So she had to get through this large crowd that was surrounding Jesus. It was so thick and compacted to the point that I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that she had to eventually end up crawling while bleeding, on your knees while bleeding, praying while bleeding, to get to the one with the blood that could heal you from bleeding. God is good. She crawling while leaving drags of blood, a trail of blood behind her. She's crawling on again, leaving a trail of blood behind her from 12 years. She touches the hem and instantly. You know how I know it's because instantly Jesus, who touched me? Now he is surrounded by all these people. All these people who are there trying to see what they can get out of him instead of believing what they can get from him. They're trying to see what they can get out of him instead of believing in what they can get from him. They're trying to see what they can get out of him instead of believing in what they can get from him. Because they was trying to see what they can get out of him, and for their own selfish reason, when they was touching Jesus, it made no effect to Jesus. But when somebody touched him who believed that his blood could stop them from bleeding, Jesus felt that and said, who touched me? When you touch the greatest, that lady that was bleeding for 12 years touched the hem. That's just the hem. Now I believe that she probably would have jumped up and hugged him. Not only was she the bleeding would have stopped from 12 years, but she would have never bleed again. Forget about menopause and all of that. He is so powerful. Like, you ain't got to ever worry about this ever again. But she touched the hem of his garment. Jesus said, who touched me? Instantly, she stopped bleeding. His blood caused her to stop bleeding. That's some powerful blood. Most people, when they get blood transfused, they get it to keep them bleeding because they need the blood to keep them bleeding. Jesus' blood stopped her bleeding. And now, is there any blood that we know of besides Jesus' blood that can stop somebody from bleeding? No, only Jesus' blood. Jesus' blood can stop you from bleeding. Jesus' breath can keep you bleeding. God breathing into you can bring you alive and make you breathe and keep your blood flowing. God is great. Touch to him. And guess God is so great. God's bloodline run from Genesis to Revelations. By the way, it's a church in Griffin, Georgia. called Genesis to Revelations. It's in Griffin, Georgia. If you're in the Griffin, Georgia area, please go to Genesis and Revelations. The pastor is Pastor Chambers. He's a very good man. He's married to a very good woman. Very good church. I highly recommend you going there. God's bloodline goes from Genesis to Revelations. And guess what? It didn't stop at Revelations, and it didn't begin in Genesis. God existed before the first pen in ink dried on the letter G for Genesis. God's blood is still existing now. You just have to be still and breathe God in, breathe greatness in, breathe greatness out. God breathed into Adam. Adam wasn't a living. God is so great. God is the only person. We do CPR. Now, they teach us not to do it with the breath anymore because of the COVID and things like that. But when they used to teach us to do it with the breath, we would breathe into people to try to help them breathe on their own. And there was a lot of work and a lot of effort involved. But God didn't have to do all that. God just... That's all God did, and then instantly Adam existed. Adam and Eve existed. Because when God created Adam, God created Eve. Eve was inside of Adam. Adam is the only man who has ever gave birth to a woman through his ribs. Now women are giving birth to men and women through our pelvis. I don't know what word I can say. I don't want to say, do the V word. Look how great God is. God put Adam to sleep so he can create a woman. Now, I don't know of any woman who was able to deliver while asleep. I don't know if because they decided to eat the fruit off the tree. But every woman I know was definitely wide awake. I've had 2 kings. I was wide awake through both of them. But God's breath is so powerful. God's breath is so powerful. Guess how great God is. I'm sorry. I'm laughing to myself. God is so great. He had Adam and Eve walking around in the garden butt naked. Bucket naked. It was naked. And they didn't even know it. God had Adam and Eve walking around bucket naked and they didn't even know it in the Garden of Eden. You know how they found out that they was naked? They decided to eat something they weren't supposed to eat. I had an old lady one time tell me that God told her to tell me to stop eating what I'm eating. But God ain't told me to stop eating what I'm eating yet, so I'm good to go. But God definitely told them when they was walking around naked that don't eat from this particular tree. And what they do, they go right to the tree. God, I wonder if God wouldn't have told them nothing. If God would have just put them in the Garden of Eden and told them nothing, I wonder if they would have ever even paid attention to that tree. Unless it was a talking tree, talking about to it. I think a serpent or something was talking to the, how a human can understand what the words that are coming out of an animal's mouth. I don't know. But hey, I watched the Animal Channel one day. It's this man that says he can understand what animals are saying. Maybe he was back in the Garden of Eden back in the day. I don't know. But that's amazing to me that Eve could literally understand the words that was coming out of an animal's mouth. I told her no eat. So the scales can be removed from your eyes because you are naked, girl. You don't know it, but every creature, animal around here can see y'all naked. So, anyway, Adam and Eve decided to eat. And they found out they was naked. So they went and hid. And I think Adam had a fig tree. And the Bible is a trip. It said the fig leaf wasn't even long enough to cover Adam. So I don't know how long Adam was, but all I know, and I don't know how long or how short a fig leaf is, but whatever it wasn't long enough to cover Adam. God had to make his first kill. I wonder if God made a trophy out of his first kill. God had to make his first kill to get some skin or whatnot off of this animal to make appropriate clothing to cover their nakedness, since they now were ashamed of their nakedness. I'm not ashamed of I walk around here naked all the time in my house. Till my second king comes home, that I put on. Yeah, I said, Mom, put on the shirt. I said, okay, so I put on the shirt. But mostly, well, I haven't ate anything God told me not to eat, so I don't see why I should not be naked. I don't go outside in public naked. It's just disgraceful. So I'm not going to do that. But in my Garden of Eden, here in my bedroom, my home, I put on what I want to put on, and I take off what I want to take off. And God still loves me. God is so great. Read the Bible sometime. It'll bless you. I mean, I read it differently, look and see things differently. I don't know. That's what I got out of after reading it. But I don't think you'll hear any of this in church. But that's what I got out of it. And what I also love is that it's amazing to me how I'm God's favorite, and I'm the greatest thing that God has ever created. But God has no respecter of persons. So that means He sees all of us the same and all of us equally. That's amazing to me, because I promise you, I'm the greatest thing God has ever created. So God got some explaining to do when we get to heaven. I'm like, hey, yo, God, dear Jesus, I'm the greatest thing you ever created. You think about me, what do you think about the sands on the sea? But you say you don't have no respect to a person. Now, my mental capacity in human form don't understand all this, so help me out, because I'm still the greatest. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please turn on that notification bell. Thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank God for you. But with that being said, please don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. I'm not worth you being jealous over. I'm a 50 rad. My righteousness is a 50 rad. I promise you, I am nobody worth you being jealous of. I can't help it that I have a wonderful relationship with God. I just be still and allow God to breathe in and out of me and through me. Allow God to operate through me. You can do the same thing if you want. It's up to you. If not, God bless you. Still love you. God bless you. It's okay. It's okay. That's between you and God. Not here to judge you. It's okay. I just know I'm the greatest thing that has ever existed. I come from greatness. God is greater. God is greater than my diagnosis. God is greater than any illnesses, sickness, or disease. God is greater than my bank account. God is greater. Yes, He is. God is greater. You know, I might not have the best YouTube channel right now. I'm working on it. I got one light. I got another light coming. You know, I got another pair of head. These are very old. So it like goes in and out. I can't monitor myself appropriately, but I'm working on it. But I'm not going to stop creating while I'm waiting on the things that will make me greater to appear, because I already have the greatness within me. I can do this efficiently and effectively without the things that I think that I might need to make me greater. I already have what I need to make me greater within me. God is greater. God is good. God's blood is the only blood that you can wash your whole entire body in and come out clean on the inside and the outside. There's no other blood that can do that. Chicken blood can't do that. Pig blood can't do that. Cow blood can't do that. Even human blood can't do that. It goes down the drain. I've been to a mortuary when I used to play cops and robbers. Yeah, I don't want to be too graphic, but they, take them bumming from the side of you, and from the other side, drain the blood out of you. Then, yeah, that's how they preserve human bodies. But God's blood is amazing. His blood alone, and his spit. Didn't he spit on the dirt and rub it in somebody's eyes, and then they went blind no more, or something like that? I didn't read that part of the Bible today, so might get down. But his blood is way more powerful than our blood. His spit is, his word is. God speak it and it exists. Just like I was talking about Abraham and Sarah and the Viagra back then. Viagra existed before these so-called pharmaceutical companies decide to make money off of it. Let's stay hard. But God's blood is, and guess what else just came to my mind? God's blood is so powerful that even before Jesus physically existed, God said, I'm gonna make this animal blood do what Jesus is going to come to do a few years from now. So they took the blood of this animal, put the blood over the doorpost of the Egypts, and Pharaoh wouldn't let his people go. And the death angel passed over the blood that was over the doorpost. Isn't that beautiful? God allowed an animal to do back then what Jesus Christ is doing for us right now. The blood of that animal that God anointed to save those people from death. God put that same blood in Jesus to hang him on the cross to save us from death, from eternal damnation. The God I serve is not putting anybody to hell. I'm sorry, you might not want to hear that. The God I serve is not putting you going to hell because you want to go. You just walk up on there and say, hey, I'm going to hell. God bless you on your way to hell. Anything I do for you, let me know. God bless you, love you, appreciate you, thank God for you. That's your route you chose to do. God bless you. But I believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, died on the cross and rose again for the remission, removal of my sins, and salvation in heaven is mine. God is great. Check this out. That if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus, and shalt believe in thine heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. Romans 10:9. Keep that in mind. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever you are, God is. Thank you, God, in me, through me, as me, around me, through the Christ within. And so it is, until we meet again. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for turning on that notification bell. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank God for you.